What is going on? So, back on the bus again. We got a number of things going on. So tomorrow, I get the oil pressure gauge and the water temp gauge. Get those hooked up, put in. And also today, I went and picked up some expanded metal. So I'm going to show you those. Okay, so right here, this is actually one piece. I bought 3 4x8 sheets of expanded metal. This is pretty flimsy stuff. I mean, the idea is I'm going to go ahead and throw some screws in here, sheet metal screws, or well, self-tappers, and kind of put one probably every 10 inches or so, 8 to 10 inches. And what that'll do is actually hold it tight, so whenever you do step in between these, it's not going to bow or anything real bad, because it's going to be held on both sides of the supports there. So I'm going to put it there. I actually got to build a set of crossbars and supports to be able to hold up the center right there to where somebody can walk down it or whichever. And, oh yeah, also, I took a giant fan. I'm not even sure how tall it was. Didn't measure it. It was a shop fan. The motor was burned up in it. So I cut it in half. And I actually made the perfect size tubs for these super singles. So you can see, I mean, they're damn near perfect, which is awesome. Gotta love it when something just falls into place. So, anyways, I am gonna put those on. And I need to cut these down. What these are is they're bars. And I actually got these because the bolts inside there are stripped out. We're just going to give it a couple ugga-duggas and she's going to be tight. But I need to cut these down and they're going to go on the inside of the frame here. Right where that one fell. They're going to go on the inside there and actually hold those up with some U-bolts. Put the U-bolts on there. It's going to hold it up. And that'll keep those tubs kind of tightened up. So, yeah. So I got that. I got some measurements for the inner supports. Hopefully I can get some of those made. And let's see. Still waiting on the other side of the exhaust tips. So I came up with an idea on this. Instead of actually fixing this body panel to keep with the rat rod look, I'm going to drill a couple holes here and into the body. And I'm actually going to stitch with some mechanics wire. Get that nice and tight. It's going to flop, but it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. I did go ahead and put some bracketry on the inside here, which is actually holding this into place where it needs to be. The front, I still need to do some work on. And as far as the hood, it's going to be able to, it's not going to open normally, but I'm going to make it to where I can take it off. I'm just going to have some hood pins on here to be able to take it off and on. So, but before all that, I need to get the fuel cell fixed up, and I still have to weld that front end. It is not welded into place, and I also need to weld the fish plates on the inside. So, get that welded and put into place. I'll screw with that later, but actually, we're going to go ahead and start it real quick. It hasn't been started in a couple days, so let me see what she does. I already gave her a pump of fuel, so ignition on. Sounds great. I actually think I'm charging the battery now. So, flip that breaker. So, I'm going to get back on this tomorrow. Kind of see how that goes. And hopefully we can get some gauges in, let the engine run, see how she does. Other than that, I think that's as far as I'm going to go today. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. What's going on? Today is Wednesday. Got some gauges. So we're gonna put these gauges in and kind of get an idea what our temperatures are running here. Wiring is always such a great time. These are a big mess. Let me turn the relay on. We're gonna see if we get a reading here or not. All right, so I'm not convinced that I'm only making 25 pounds of oil pressure. So the gauge that I got actually came with a oil pressure sending unit. So this is a other one that I had. I'm just gonna go ahead and take it off and use that one. So this one also has a warning light on it. But I'm wondering if maybe that just reads different than what this one does. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it again, see if it reads any different, and kind of take a look. All right, so that's what the other one on there. £50 looks so much better. So obviously there's different readings and a lot of electrical terms that I'm not about to explain because I don't know what I'm talking about. So we'll pitch that to the side. Use that on somebody else's if they want. So, okay, now that the gauges are on, temperature, I think I'm gonna have to change that one too because that's a different sensor. So once this engine cools down, I'm gonna go ahead and pop that out, put the actual one that these gauges take. So I'll put that one on there. I have a different one. We're just gonna take it off. I'm not even worried about it. And maybe we can get us a temperature reading. Okay, this was a hassle. I built this out of some scrap iron. All this is angle. I got some tubing with some pretty thick flat. So by doing that, I'm actually supporting this all the way through because that expanded metal is so flimsy. I want to support it. That way, whenever somebody was to walk on this, they didn't just fall right through it. So that was the idea with that. I need to kind of get this chock down to where she doesn't move. But first, I think I need to go ahead and mount my tubs for the tires. Get that kind of situated and stiffened up here. So if I get the tubs in, that'd be great. That way I can go ahead and cover this expanded, do all that other fancy crap. So I'm gonna be working on that. All right, it's starting to heat up outside this time of the year. It's gonna start getting real hot out here. So I apologize, I'm not filming everything. Really trying to get a lot of this done and messing with the camera and doing this, it's a mess. Especially when I'm sitting inside this bus. It's an oven in here. So, good thing is I should be about 185 pounds by the end of August by working on this sucker. But really, you guys are gonna start noticing that there's gonna be a couple things that get done that I don't video, and part of this floor is one of them. I went and fastened down this back part. I'll show you. I got this back of the floor fastened down. What I'm doing is pre-drilling me a small hole, and over there I got washers, and I got some self-tapping screws, and I'm actually going on each and every one of these braces. That way, whenever you step on this, it doesn't actually move. It's solid. By doing that, what you're doing is stretching it to where it can't go down. So it holds it tight all the way across. So you can actually walk on this, and you have very little sag, but you still have some. It's not going to be your typical floorboard. But me personally, I like the look of it because not every day that you get in a vehicle can actually see the ground like that. So as far as the tubs, I need to get different size U-bolts. I got the wrong size, so I'll swing by the parts store tomorrow and grab a couple. Other than that, I mean, I think that's as far as I'm going to get today. I need to figure out how I'm going to fasten that down to the frame. I may just cut me a couple slivers of angle iron, just 2x2 pieces, bolt them onto that, and then bolt them onto the frame. That way I can actually take that out if ever need be. And once that's in, then I can go ahead and actually fasten down the floor above it and just continue on forwards until I get a lot of the floor done. All right, it's a new day, and let me tell you, it's pretty damn hot in here. So go ahead and put these in. End up putting a U-bolt around this, and I got the pipe on the front. It's U-bolted to that. These are actually solid enough. I actually sat on one to test it, but if it can hold me, I think it should be okay. Let's see. So I also got this put in. Like I said yesterday, I was just going to do some angle and bolt it. She is solid. That's junk. So now I can actually go ahead and put the flooring on top of this right here and get this part floored in and go ahead and start working my way up. So the idea was to go ahead and put a piece of straight bar across here. That way I could butt it up against there. That didn't work, so I may just end up coming with a piece of flat iron, coming across here, be able to hold it, whichever. I'm not sure yet. Really, nobody needs to be walking up here anyways by the engine except me. Anybody wants to get in and ride, they're going to be in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting the floorboard, get it put in here, and I'll throw that on a time lapse so you guys can see it. So, anyways. Well, I'd say we're about halfway done. And I gotta call it a day. It is way too hot in this puppy. So pretty stout. I mean, it's not too soft by any means, so you can walk around on it, no issue. So it's a lot better than trying to balance on these bars, that's for sure. So ideas on the tubs, may go ahead and just throw some more expanded on the insides there. That way whenever you're rolling smoke, it's just gonna be a smoke show in here. So, you know, the less you can breathe, the longer the burnout is, because you pass out at the wheel. So so yeah, that's as far as I'm gonna go today. I'll start on that sides tomorrow. I do need to make another support bar to go right there. So the bar that I made to actually support these crossbars here is about 2 inches lower than the actual floor. So I do need to make 2 of those bars go across and be able to put the floor there. So that way it's smooth all the way across. No divots or nothing. And so yeah, that is the plan for tomorrow. I will get that. I got a torque converter coming. It's a yeah, it's the same exact one that I have in the Bug. 2300 stall, 2800, 23 to 2800 stall. It was on sale, so I figured I'd go ahead and get her. So now that the torque converter will be in, I'll go ahead and be able to finish out the transmission, except the driveline. And once the driveline's in, then we have a completely drivable bus if I just want to start it and throw it in gear. But I think we'll work on brakes and the gas pedal first. So anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, just cut this puppy open. It is Friday, by the way. So this is our converter. Itty bitty puppy. So yeah, this is a same converter that I got in the Bug, and she's been really good to me. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna slide that transmission back. I got a couple railroad ties under there I need to get positioned up, slide it back, slide this torque converter on after I fill it with fluid. Gotta make sure I fill it with fluid first. And put that on. Now also, by running the engine the other day, I realized that the temp gauge wasn't working. So, and the reason being is that radiator sits lower than the intake. And also that water has to travel up this hose, which you can't do. So I have a big pocket in the top of the air tank, or the intake. So this should eliminate that problem. All right, so right there we got the regular thermostat housing. This is going to be the same thing, to where you can put the thermostat in the bottom, which I'm not running a thermostat, so I don't have to worry about that. But I'll still be able to use the hose right there. And at the top of that, there's actually a cap that goes here. Now they make these to where you can turn them either way, but we're going to go the same direction that we were using before, except this is going to be on top. So by doing that, I can actually put a cap on here, and I can fill the top of the intake and the engine through right here. And that will eliminate that air pocket, which would then let the water flow through the engine, because right now it's just sitting there trying to spin air. It can't do nothing because there's a big air pocket. So that should eliminate that problem. And I bought that. This is the billet one, and then it also comes with the Allen bolts, O-ring, and gasket and everything. So I'll get that put on either today or a couple days, whichever, but I do have it, so that'll be good. All right, so I got the bolts out that I was holding it with. Got the mount bolts out. I'm really hoping that I made this easy enough to be able to just pull out. So. Yeah, super simple. It just came apart. So, I'm gonna go ahead and fill that torque converter up full of fluid. Get that put on there and throw it back on. Let's see how it looks. Okay, just got some big old cheap as can be transmission fluid. Don't know if the transmission works, so no sense in spending that high dollar crap. Alright, so as you can see, that torque converter is full. If you guys were wondering what I was doing with this, so these torque converters come with this covered, and that way no debris and all that crap gets in there. But whenever you're filling up some of these torque converters, that fluid just likes to sit there and it likes to slowly bubble until it fills in all the cavities. So what I'm doing is actually making a plunger motion, just like you would a toilet. You're trying to plunger the oil down through the torque converter. And by doing that, you're actually pushing the fluid into all these empty cavities and everything else that's built inside of these torque converters. It takes 1/10 of the time that it does than just rather than just sitting here and waiting on this thing to fill up. And since I don't have very much time, we're using a plunger. So now that that's full, this can actually be slid onto this transmission. So whenever you slide this torque converter on, it will slide on first, and you're going to feel it kind of almost engage, really. And then these two slots right here, those, you have to turn the torque converter to where it actually lines up with the pump inside the transmission, and it's going to make a second clunk. When it makes that second clunk, torque converter's all the way in. If not, then you can actually push on that pump with this ridge right here, and you will destroy that transmission. So, very crucial that you get these lined up. And and it doesn't hurt the oil like steel too. So if you want to put a little bit of transmission fluid on, oil, whatever, KY, I don't really care. I'm using this right here. So put that on, and I noticed that they didn't give me any flywheel bolts, except for torque converter bolts. So I'll end up having to get some of those, which is not a big deal. But let's put this thing together. Man, I gotta tell you, it's hotter than two fat chicks fighting over a Twinkie in the back of an El Camino. It's toasty. It's not even 100 degrees out yet. This summer, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. So we gotta get busting down on this thing, because I ain't gonna be able to be out here when it's sunny. So, but yeah, so the transmission's in. I got the mount in, everything else. I'm lacking 2 bolts. Need to grab 2 of those on each side, and the torque converter bolts, which ain't a big deal at all. Next, I need to measure this output shaft to the yoke on the rear end. Get that measurement. That way I can go ahead and get a driveline getting cut and get on the way. Let's see. I may go and put that thermostat housing in. I'm not too sure. I need to go and get plugs for it, so probably not. But I can go ahead and start measuring getting the floorboard ready. So that'll be good. Did not make the bracing today, but I can get up to here. So about 4 foot of that, I should be okay. Get that straightened up, get it floored in, and be good. So yeah, let me start on that. All right, didn't video it or nothing. It's too damn hot, but got this snapped in. Lacking one piece right there. Need to charge battery on the grinder to be able to cut that piece and bolt that in. So, and then I gotta make more bracing right here for this. Also, I got this on. So there's the inlet right there for the water. And need to plug the back of this. And then this is where I can actually fill the system now. And then you still got your overflow line, which I'll tie that in somewhere. I might even just plug it because I got the overflow down there. So we'll see what happens. I'm not too sure yet. But we are trucking along. Hopefully we can get this thing half-ass figured out to where we can actually drive it at least down the back alley here. Getting closer and closer and closer each time. So just one day at a time, about an hour a day at a time, really. And we're trucking along, getting her done. So I'd like to find me a seat next, be able to get that bolted in. Once the seat's bolted in, I can figure out where the gas pedal goes and the shifter. I'll be able to make the shifter, get a throttle cable for the gas pedal, and I'll be able to figure out the brake situation after that. All right, today's Sunday. I had a couple hours to actually work on the bus today. Really is nice to just kind of relax and not have to worry about filming and stuff. Bummer for you guys. Kind of a good thing for me. I was able to just focus on this. But I'll show you a couple things done today, actually. Now, I got the front clip off of this bus again because I actually had a family member, Timmy. He actually came out here. Got those plates welded in finally, so the front frame it's completely done. It's on, welded the fish plates, welded around the seam, got it pretty good. So it ought to hold pretty decently. He even guaranteed the work. So now the radiator, I got that deal put on there. It has its own radiator cap, overflow, everything else like that. And the air cleaner. My bad. Zoom is walkie. But this air cleaner actually came off of my first build that I had. It was a 71 C10. Called it the Braxton truck. Whenever I got rid of the truck, I wanted to keep that. It was kind of my own piece that I wanted to have of the truck. I'm getting rid of that big old bulky piece of crap. And I'm going to build a plate on that to where I can put that on the engine. I like that much better. Also, I got the transmission lines somewhat plumbed in. So I got that going. And a big bummer when I found the torque converter to the flywheel. And this engine and the transmission came out of this junk ass Winnebago looking thing, and it was all factory. So these OEM flex plates, the ones that come with them factory, they don't have dual drilled flex plates. So now if you guys are going to argue with me on the flex plate and the flywheel, a flex plate is for an automatic transmission and a flywheel is for a standard. Argue all you want, that's the way it is. Some guys just, they think you're an idiot. I am an idiot, but deal with it. That's what it's called. It's a flex plate. So I got to order one. They got one on Jegs. I think it's $75. It's a dual drilled, so it's 11-inch bolt diameter, and you got 10 3/4 inch diameter. This torque converter calls for 1075, and unfortunately this flywheel is not, so I have to take all that back apart and bolt one in, which isn't a big deal because the transmission's real easy to move. But I'll hop up here and I'll show you. Still missing this patch of panel here, but all the rest of the flooring is actually in the bus, and it's all pretty stout. Walk on it, not an issue. And I will let time take its course. All this will actually rust, and it'll be a lot more visible. And I may have an extra little bit of steel. I might be able to cover up those fender wells. That way, whenever shrapnel comes, it doesn't smack the people that are sitting back here. And that's another thing I started thinking. I might put a bench seat here and a bench seat there, and then have one more right here. That way people can still walk through here and be able to check things out. So, but yeah, so I got one of the transmission lines is actually plumbed into the transmission. The other one, I had to get an extra 6 inches of line. So I need to get it. But that's just brake line is what I'm using, 5/16 brake line. It's a nickel, so you're able to bend it and real easy without kinking it. So that'll be good. And let's see. Also got my oil pressure warning light. I got that plumbed in. So that comes in. Also got the gauge lights. Now this light's only on right now because there is no oil pressure in the engine. But if I go to start it, the light should go away. So with that light off, I do have oil pressure. Oh, shit. Well, I had to shut you guys off real quick because I sprung an oil leak, and that's why I was only getting 25 pounds of oil pressure right there in the video. Looked up in there and the damn oil filter gasket popped out the side of it, so I guess I'll have to get a new filter on that. That was kind of bizarre. Just checked it, the filter's tight, but if you look up in there, you can actually see the gasket popped out the side of it. Huh. Well, you have to take a gander at that. We definitely don't want that happening when you're driving and lose all your oil. That's pretty important shit. Yeah, that's kind of, it bugs me. So I guess I'll figure that out now. So yeah, so I don't even know where I was, but got the floor in. Fenders they're good now. Like I said, I got to take that transmission back a little bit, take the torque converter out, take a better look at everything, fix my damn oil leak now. And yeah, so next week I think what I'll probably end up working on is getting this front end put on mainly, get that set in stone to where it doesn't have to come off again. And once the front end's on, I'll be able to get the hood where it needs to be, and I can actually put the fuel cell back in and not have to worry about the water draining into it and filling it up with water again. So, but other than that, I still got quite a bit of stuff to do. I don't know if I said before or not, but I sat down, made a list, wrote down everything that I got to do, and I still got a bunch. But not a big deal. We'll start cruising through it, get her done. This week, just focus on the stuff that doesn't cost any money. I got plenty of that to do. And I think the next big ticket item will be either the drive shaft or the brake system. So, because I'm going to go ahead and put a brake booster on it, kind of help lock up that front end. So yeah, I mean, other than that, that's as far as I'm going to really go today. and in this entire video, really. So, like always, appreciate you guys watching. Keep you guys updated on the next thing that we end up doing. And that's about it. So, y'all take it easy. All right. I know I said that I was done for today in this video and all that. Wrong. Whenever something's bothering me, it's going to bug me and bug me and bug me. I'm not going to be able to sleep because I got constant thoughts going on in my head. What could cause this? Why would it be doing that? Well, the oil leak, I lost probably half a gallon. So it worried me. Now, as you guys know, I took the oil cooler off this engine. Junk. Trash. I don't want it. And I put this oil filter on. That's a Wix oil filter. Gripe about the brand, do whatever. I don't really give a shit. I was told MicroGuard is crap. So next thing they had was Wix. So I took that filter down, and I thought the gasket actually squeezed out the side. Well, here's the gasket. Nothing's wrong with it. It sits inside of this filter housing. It has its own little area. Well, that O-ring was sitting on top of it. This O-ring does not belong there. This is no bueno. It has nothing to do with this damn engine. What it was is that oil cooler was sitting up there and didn't realize it when I tightened it up. So it just popped out the side and started leaking the oil. So I'm going to put some fluid in here, start it back up now that my headers are nice and lubed up. I don't have to worry about oiling those anytime soon. It's just going to look like Cheech and Chong are sitting in the front seat of this damn thing when I start it. So if you see smoke, don't worry about it. We're okay. So that's out. Changed it. Feels so much better. I might be able to sleep tonight. So, more you know. All right, battery died on me. But I did just start it. I'm running 55 pounds of oil pressure. So we're good, I think. But, yeah, I think we're okay. But I killed it real quick. Wanted to check the oil and stuff, and then went to start it for you guys, and the battery's dead. So I'll throw that on the charger. But, now we're done for the video. Thanks for watching.